What is up, everybody? Welcome to Adventures of Joe. This is my unofficial podcast, and I'm calling it that because I don't think it's my podcast yet. I might have something much more official down the road, but in the meantime, this is all just kind of really informal. This is just kind of like the brainchild of what I wanted to do today. And the thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of have like a video where I would kind of have like a conversation with you in the sense where I would like to encourage you, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever you're going through. I just wanted to encourage you because, like, when you look at everything that's happening in the world on whichever social media platform you go through, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that it brings you down, and it's not very uplifting, and especially when you're the type of person that maybe you're still struggling to find yourself. You're still swimming. You're still trying to figure out who you are in this world. Or maybe you're already like kind of this person where, yeah, I know what my purpose is, I know what I'm doing, but there are a lot of things in your life that are still, you're still going through a lot of obstacles, and it's still really frustrating. So you have all of that. I'm sorry, you have all of that, and then you have all of these things happening in the world, and it just feels like that there is this huge weight on your chest, and it feels difficult to kind of lift yourself out of bed and really go for the things that you want to achieve. And so that's the reality of so many people. But what I just wanted to try to do today, now, what it was to have a conversation with you. Now, far be it from me to say that I am the voice of reason on any subject, and far be it from me to declare myself like this person that knows all, maybe, that ought to be riding this high horse and be teaching everybody everything. I just wanted to talk from my heart, from my own experiences, and hope that if you are watching this video right now, I hope that this in some way encourages you, because like we all know what it feels to be down. We all know what it feels like to be hurt, and this life, if anything, it's like 80% hurt and pain and struggles. And all I wanted to do today was I just wanted to encourage you. Now, for for the subject today, the thing that I wanted to talk to you about was this thing that I just love so much, and it happened in my personal life. This is from my personal experience, and every time I think about this, regardless of what I'm going through, especially when it's hard or difficult, this thing, this realization that I had a while back, never fails to encourage me, and I just wanted to share that with you. So what happened was, let's just get right to it. This is the moment where I'm supposed to be plugging my video, my channel. Like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You feel free to do that whenever you'd like. So anyway, unintentional plug. But let's just get right to what I wanted to share with you now. Uh, I'm a recent returnee to college. I had dropped out a while back, and I just went back to college. Now, previously, I was taking up this course, Bachelor in Science in Business Administration. I was major in marketing, and the reason that I'm specifying that was this was a course that wasn't so heavy on math. Of course, we had the usual subjects. We had college algebra and we had basics in accounting, but it's in so far as per my experience back then, we weren't so heavy on math compared to other subjects. Now, when I had dropped out, I came back to school. I shifted courses, and of all the courses that I could have taken, I took up economics. Economics of all things, and it's such a great subject, but it's so challenging. Just if you want to judge by the sheer number of math subjects that you have to go through, economics is a pretty challenging course. Now, this was really on for me because you might be looking at me and you might think, well, I feel like you might have this competency in math, but the truth be told is I'm so bad at math. I'm really bad at math. If anything, like I'm I'm much more competent as a person when it comes to the arts, when it comes to writing and speaking, and I'm really comfortable on stage, which begs the question, why I didn't take up theater or something like that. But I the point is, I'm not very good at math. Now, this was the thing that was different about this experience was I was determined to finish the subject. I really liked the idea that I could try and that I could understand the world numerically. And that's what economics can teach you, although not fully, but like, it can give you like a step up in terms of that understanding. But like, and I really like that idea, but it again, it's really challenging. But the thing that was different about my previous experience prior to me dropping out was this time I was much more determined. I had much more purpose and I had much more drive. So I was determined to do well. So when it came to my math subjects, I really hit the books. I asked for help. I got some tutoring help. I reviewed endlessly. Even if there was no quiz or exam approaching, I would review that thing in the hopes that when a quiz or exam or major exam would come, I would be absolutely ready. And when it did arrive, the problem was, like, I was so confident and I would take the exam and I would feel really good, but like when they would return the paper to me, it wouldn't be an A. It'd be a B minus. Like, what? Why? I did everything that was necessary. I did everything that I could, but why are the results the way that they are? And I'm sure you've had this experience. I'm sure many of you have had this experience where, like, when you take up when you're trying to solve a math equation, you mess up one small, tiny, eensy beensy, tiny little thing, and it just messes everything up. And that was the case for me. Maybe I was too excited, I was too impatient, I overlooked something, and I did one small little mistake, and that just it took away the necessary points to get me to an A. And that was incredibly frustrating. Like, I would look at my paper and I would just feel really down. It was a little bit higher than most of my other classmates because I really did put in the time, but like, it wasn't at the point where I wanted to be. And for a while, like, this really bothered me. I would like lie down in bed and I would just feel really discouraged and I would feel really down, and I'd keep asking if I would keep asking God, like, why, God, why? And it was really difficult for me to understand. But one day, it felt like I had an epiphany. And if you want to talk from a religious standpoint, it felt like God had a conversation with me. I'm sorry. God had come into this room and he started talking to me. And the thing that he said was, "Don't you see that you got better?" Because, like, if I look back at where I had come from in terms of my determination, in terms of how I wanted to handle my math subjects, this was so much better, and I had a much more better grasp in this subject. Granted, it wasn't perfect. Granted, it wasn't an A where I wanted it to be, but it was progress, and it was good. You see, the thing that we often forget when especially we look at these examples of success, all we see are the cars, all we see are the mega mansions, all we see are the jewelry, the watches, the clothes, the sneakers. But we often forget that that's what they want us to see. We often forget that progress and the pursuit of success is ugly. What I want you to remember today is that you might be an aspiring artist, but for some reason you just can't get the hands right. You might be somebody like me that, regardless of how hard you try for this subject, and regardless of that subject, whether it's math or history or what have you, you just can't seem to get it right. Remember that progress is ugly. And as long as you did everything you could, that's progress. See, we have to kind of balance it out. I still want to balance it out with you guys. You see, when some people, when they take up a subject, you know, they go into it, and excuse my language for a second, but they go into it half-assed. Sorry. They go into it thinking, I won't do this the best that I can. And I don't want to judge people, because there have been a lot of times where I felt that way, and there were a lot of factors that led me to feel that way. So I won't judge other people, but the fact of the matter is that when you want to get good at something, you have to do it with all your heart, and that deserves your very best. It does get frustrating, it does get tiring, you do feel a sense of fatigue, but when you put in the effort, that's what matters. Your growth, your progress, that's what matters. One of my favorite things that I've ever heard, at a time where I still wanted to pursue sports as a career, was that this was in a time where I really wanted to be a professional football player, soccer player, for you guys over there in the States. But I made a ton of mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes. And if you're anything like me, when it comes to making mistakes, you're really hard on yourself. Not to mention, I had a lot of teammates that would yell and that would scream like, "What are you doing? Are you stupid?" All these hurtful things. And that was kind of my reality. But one day I was watching this football match, and it was between two teams. Unfortunately, I forgot which teams they were. They weren't very good, but like, they had conceded a goal. One team had conceded a goal, and the commentator said something that just kind of blew my mind, that opened my eyes. And he said, "Mistakes are gonna happen. Mistakes are gonna happen, and you just have to accept it." Now he didn't say it like that, but like, that was his gist. That was the gist of what he said. Mistakes are gonna happen. You have to accept it, and you have to pick yourself up. And the reason that was so shocking to me was, like, every time I'd play this game, every time I'd play this sport that I absolutely loved, perfection was demanded. You have to be this way. And you can't afford a mistake. But the fact of the matter is, even if you watch professionals go at it, even they make a lot of mistakes. And that's part of the game. In this world wants you to look a certain way. This world wants you to do things a certain way. This world wants you to be a certain way, regardless of your imperfections. And when I grew up, our household was pretty stern. And I love my mom, God rest her soul. But, she wanted perfection out of me. She wanted me to be the very best, and it was a very noble thing. But, you know how it can be sometimes. Like, no, don't make that mistake. No, 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 no. And that's the reality of a lot of people. And that's the reality of the society. And people who have experienced that, they pass it on to not just their kids, but to other people. So, like, it's this one big net. It's this one big confusing net of people demanding that you be a certain way. But the fact of the matter is, you're always going to make mistakes. But that's what progress looks like. That's what progress looks like. Now, how we really utilize that progress is dependent on how you pick yourself up, correct those mistakes, and move forward. But even if you move forward, you will still make a mistake. Accept it. But you're growing. You're picking yourself up again, and you're moving forward, and you are growing. You're getting better. Prior to my efforts when it came to my math subject, I wasn't very good when it came to trigonometry. I wasn't very prepared when it came to calculus. But when I did the very best that I could, failed and then tried again and then failed, I was learning. I realized that I might not necessarily win the Nobel Prize in calculus or something like that one day. But I got better. I got much more competent. And suffice it to say, I got better. That's what progress looks like. So, regardless of wherever you're from, whatever you're going through, There's a lot of things that'll frustrate you in this world. There's a lot of things that will hurt you on your path towards what you want to achieve and what you're striving for. And there'll be a lot of failures, but accept it. It's part of the game. Accept it and grow. That's progress. So, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope that from my very basic speech and my very limited knowledge, I hope that I could encourage you. My advice isn't perfect, and it's difficult for me to even apply it to myself a lot of times. But in the wonderful words of High School Musical, we're all in this together, right? So I hope that in one way or another, I could encourage you and I could just help you. So that being said, I guess that's it for this video. I will be making more of these because, you know, I just kind of want to make more of these. Hope that's okay. And if it is with you, if it's okay with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Finally, the right time to plug my channel in my videos. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. A lot more videos headed your way for sure. So not just with regards to these kinds of videos, but even to my gaming stuff, because I really like to game and I really like to talk. So it's a match made in heaven. So that being said, in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But in the meantime, this is me saying buyers.